Hey guys, Coach Rin, Canyon Side Cages. Thanks for watching another episode of the podcast. Today's guest, Kyle Holder, prospect for the New York Yankees. He was drafted in 2015 out of the University of San Diego, regarded as one of the best shortstops in the draft. Has really found his way at the plate recently through changing his routine. He was sent to the Arizona Fall League where he got a chance to work with Jay Bell. So we're going to ask him a lot of questions about some of the things that he's learned over the past seasons. And I'm really excited for you guys to hear, man. So thanks for watching. Hope you guys enjoy. So, like I said, thanks again for being on the show, man. You were drafted in 2015 out of USD, regarded as one of the best shortstops in the draft. Last year, you were at High A, had a really strong season, got sent to the Arizona Fall League. First, talk to us about some of your work with Greg Colbran, the hitting coach in Low A, and kind of how that helped you transition to High A. Sounds like some of the work you did down there really impacted your swing.
Yeah, absolutely. Greg Colbran has been a big help in my offensive career so far. I got to work with him, like you said, the full year in Low A Charleston, and then he actually got promoted as our hitting coordinator after that year, which was great because I got to continue to work with him even though I wasn't in Charleston the following year. I think being able to be around a guy like that who has such knowledge for the game and such knowledge for the offensive side of the game, being a big leaguer for 13 plus years, and being a big league hitting coach, just being able to pick his brain was awesome. He's big on developing a routine and sticking to that routine no matter how your week is going or your season's going. Something that you can always fall back on and fall back when you're struggling. And I think that was a big help to me, knowing the drills that I was doing was helping, even if it wasn't showing in every game, you know. So
Yeah.
I think he kind of helped me in that regard. As a young pro ball player, kind of just going with the flow and not really knowing how important developing a routine was and sticking to the routine. And he kind of showed me the ropes and helped me realize that the routine was the biggest part of the game. And I could always fall back on that routine, and I still do the same thing to this day ever since we worked together. So he was a big help to the start of my pro career for sure.
That's awesome. Yeah, it sounds like he was a big help. So you transitioned from High A after your strong season to the Arizona Fall League, and you got a chance to play for a guy that I got to watch as a kid, Jay Bell, who
Uh-huh.
was an outstanding infielder, really skilled hitter. What were some of the things that you learned from him? Because I'm really interested to hear some of the things that you got to work with him on in the Fall League.
Yeah, I actually got to work. I played for him in High A Tampa. He was my manager. Um, so I got to play with him for 5 months or 6 months, with the High A Tampa team, which was a blessing. Me and him both kind of played the same positions and both kind of started moving positions as our careers went on, and I think we connected pretty well with that. And what I really like about Jay is that he's all about simplifying the game. He's trying to make the game as easy as possible. People like to make it hard and overthink things, and that's kind of what me and him worked on all the time, was defensively picking out a target, trying to hit that target every time, making the game simple. How fast can I be? How short can I be to the ball? And that line drive approach and the gaps, things like that. And I think we connected really well in that aspect. And I just continued to get to play for him in Arizona. It was just a blessing to continue to work with him and pick his brain, because he has so much knowledge that he loves to share with the younger generation, the younger baseball group. And I'm looking forward to continue listening and working with him.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He was a very controlled player. He seemed like the type of player that never tried to do too much.
Exactly.
Really, really just did a lot of things well. And
Yep.
I'd say, is that coming from college ball to pro ball? Do you feel like there was a sense of trying to do too much when you got up there at
Yeah.
all,
Yeah.
or?
100%. My first half season in the Penn League with the Staten Island Yankees, I that new college guy that was just drafted in the first round, and they have all this hype on you. And I think I went out there and I expected too much of myself, and I put way too much pressure on myself, and I think it um, it just kind of made me play scared and play tentative and not go out and play the game that I've been playing my whole life. And I think a lot of guys feel that pressure when they're first drafted. They kind of try to fit in and things like that instead of just going out and having fun and playing the game that they're used to playing. And I think that's what I did for sure. And that following spring training and that year in the Charleston year where I got to work with really good guys like Greg Colbran and Travis Chapman and those kind of guys, they all kind of shaped me and let me know. And Patrick Osborne, who's another big influence in the Yankees organization, that helped me out and just going out and having fun and playing the game and just enjoying it.
Yeah, that's great, man. Well, I wanted to transition to your swing a little bit because when you were at the facility, we got a chance to talk about some of the things you actually worked on to, to have such a strong season. And for all you listeners that don't know Kyle, he's a righty thrower, lefty hitter, and that poses not some problems, but for him it caused some issues, and there were some things that he really worked on, and so that's kind of what I wanted to touch base with him. You talked to Didi Gregorius a little bit in the off season, and he gave you some drills. Could you touch base on that a little bit?
Yeah, so I got to work with Didi in our first he started the year on the disabled list, so his rehab stint was in High A Tampa with us. So he played a bunch of games with us and worked out with us, and I got to pick his brain. And he kind of just said, "Look, us guys who hit lefty and throw righty our whole lives, we've been just right hand dominant, and our right arm is so much stronger than our left that when we swing, the left arm kind of lags behind the right arm." And I kind of just listened in, and I was watching him do some drills, and he just kind of asked me some questions like, don't you ever feel like when you miss, your misses are like pop flies to left field instead of line drive? I was like, yeah, that's 100% true. And so we kind of broke it down and did a lot of one-handed drills, and I kind of copied his routine, and I really liked it, and it got my top hand a lot stronger, and I started seeing results honestly instantly when I started doing more drills. In a couple of days, I felt like I was way stronger, and my left arm could actually get through the ball the proper way. And I don't know. I think it was a big changing block in that season for sure.
So, can you give us part of the routine that you did? Some of the things that you kind of used to help with that strength.
So I have a heavy bat, a short heavy bat, which is meant for one hand drills. Weight all at the bottom. And I would kind of just set the tee up, take about 10 one-handed swings with the tee right down the middle, and then I would put the tee out in front of me on an inside pitch, like you're catching it way out in front, and then I would take about 5 to 10 swings there, and then 5 to 10 swings just on a normal inside pitch, 5 to 10 swings, and then I would end with it right down the middle, but kind of like you're getting, like, put the tee way back in your stance, like you're getting fooled, like you're kind of sitting on off speed and gets a fastball and you catch it deep. The only way to really hit that ball on a line and be able to do it is that perfect path to the ball.
Right.
And so you kind of are just looking at thinking line drive to third base type deal with that exact drill. And I think that was a big one that helped me out a lot, was getting fooled or catching a ball deep or just being late. If you don't have the right path, you got no shot in hitting it the way you want to. So I think that drill helped out a lot. And then just end with some normal two hands, and you can honestly, I think, feel the difference just right in one round.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's important for all hitters to kind of work on single hand drills at least some point. It's not for everyone, but to understand how important that backhand is in getting the barrel to the baseball in a short, efficient manner is huge. So that was some great insight on some drills that some guys can do to kind of, help with that. I'm sure some of the people are going to be listening, like, oh man, I flare the ball over to left field or right field
Yeah.
sometimes, and they have no clue what they're feeling. So that was
It's just
great, man.
that left hand isn't strong enough. It can't get to the ball fast like your right arm can. And I think once you start getting those drills under you and you start feeling comfortable with it, and you can take a bunch of swings without your arm getting super tired, you'll start to notice that the misses in the game are going to be more. They're going to be hit harder, and they're going to be hit more on a line rather than those like filleted fly out flares to left or short or shallow left, things like that. And that's what I noticed. I started noticing harder contact to the opposite field.
Yeah, that's great, man. Your swing really looked good at the facility. I was noticing that you were, as a result of working that top hand, you're staying a lot more up the middle. And how is that helping you pull the ball?
It's just when you have the right path to the ball, I think it helps you in every aspect. Not just balls down the middle or outside or anything. It's just quicker to the inside pitch also.
Yeah, definitely.
The guys are throwing so hard these days that I feel like you gotta be quick. You gotta be ready, And I think having that direct path to the ball and being short helps out a lot, especially with that top velo.
Definitely, definitely. So, when you get a chance to talk with hitting coaches at this level, you've obviously played at a couple different colleges. You played at Grossmont, USD, so you've got a chance to hear from a lot of different coaches over the years. You actually played at the same high school as I did, which was random. I found out. But yeah, what's the difference between hitting coaches at different levels, especially the mechanical stuff? Because what I want my listeners to know is that if you're finding some of this info out a little bit earlier, and it gives you a chance to work on it, in the beginning of your career, and you can understand some of these things, I think I think it can be important to kind of developing a swing throughout your career, just like stuff you're doing now. This is going to develop your pro swing. So even the kid, someone that's in high school that's listening, is there a big difference between what you're hearing at different levels?
Yeah, I think so. I think the game's changing a lot now, but it's always important. My personal opinion, it's never too early to start working on those one-handed drills. I think those are really beneficial, especially like you said, if you're a left-handed hitter, right-handed thrower. That's what I tell the kids I do lessons with. Just pound those in, get those in. It definitely helps out. But I think it's important to listen to what all your coaches have to say and just kind of take in all the information. It's not bad to have a lot of information. You just kind of have to apply the things you think is going to be best for your career and your offensive career, and implement those into your swing. If they're not working, you don't think they're going to work, respect them, and don't use it. I think it's important to hear what everyone has to say,
right.
And that's what I've found a lot really beneficial is everyone has a different idea, and all those ideas, one idea can click with you that you wouldn't think would. And I think it's just keep your ears open and just be ready to learn, and then go from there and kind of try to put in what you think is going to be best for you into your swing, and take the rest out, I'd say.
Yeah, that's a great point, because there's going to be a lot of good information and a lot of bad information, and you've got to be able to kind of determine what works for you, like you said.
Yeah.
So beyond kind of the upper half with your students, is there anything that you really emphasize with your students as an absolute, as far as the swing goes?
I try to tell them. I know it's different for everyone, and everyone wants to hit home runs and stuff now. You got to know what kind of hitter you are and what hitter you're going to be. I think that's a big thing, and I'm sure a lot of us guys have gone through it. They want to be someone that they're eventually not going to pan out to be, and I think you got to stick to what you have and continue to grow on what you have. And if you're not going to be a 25 home run type of guy, take your doubles in the gap. Don't try to do too much. Stick to the gap to gap approach, and you'll hit home runs on accident. And I think that's the big thing, is kind of just I'd say sticking to who you're going to be when you grow up and what kind of hitter you're going to be, and find out what kind of hitter you're going to be, what's your strengths and weaknesses, and just try to get better every single day.
Yeah, man, that's great advice. Yeah, Tony Gwynn said, one of the biggest parts of being a good hitter is knowing yourself, and so I
Yeah.
think that really sets the tone for learning the type of swing that you want to take, and learning how to hit the way you should hit. So that's great advice, man. Well, just a couple more questions, kind of off the topic of hitting. You gave up basketball for baseball in college, actually. And what advice would you give some of these multi-sport or even single-sport athletes that are maybe being pushed to play baseball only, or
Yep.
the opposite, where maybe they have parents that are having them play three sports? What advice would you give, because you obviously were a two-sport athlete all the way through college, and it really, I think, helped you into the pro circuit. So go ahead and give the guys some advice.
Yeah, I think I just got in this conversation the other day with somebody. I think, me personally, basketball helped my baseball game 100%, no doubt about it. I think being a two-sport athlete and playing many sports is the best thing you can do for yourself, because each sport's going to kind of connect to the other and the athletic part of it. Um, sure, there are pros and cons to both. I'd say the con is, for me, was I never got the at-bats full year round. So I missed a lot of hitting opportunities, and I think that's why I'm still developing as a hitter. And it took me a while to kind of figure out how the swing works and things like that. But I feel like I got drafted because of my defense personally, and I think basketball helps my defense 100%. So there are pros and cons to it, but if you're a two-sport athlete, continue playing it. Don't let anyone say you can't do that. You have to stick to that. Wait until you're forced to not play the other sport, and that's one of the biggest advices I would give to the younger guys is make sure your grades are where you want to be. Don't settle for average. Be the best so that you can go to any school you want. And if you play two sports, don't give it up, because it's going to help you out in the long run.
No, great advice, man. Well, this is probably the question that I wanted to ask the most for Yankees fans. What is the coolest thing about playing for the Yankees?
Just putting on the pinstripes, man. There's a different feeling about walking into a Yankee clubhouse. I mean, I guess I can't speak for all that because I haven't been in any other clubhouses, but the standard you're held to when you have pinstripes on is just it's a crazy feeling. You're going out and you're representing the New York Yankees, one of the most prestigious sports franchises in history, and it's a great feeling. The pinstripes and the NY on your chest it's pretty cool.
Yeah, man, and then you get to mingle with guys like Didi Gregorius, and that's got to be awesome. Well, last question, man. What are some of your goals for the 2018 season? I feel like I've been asking my last couple guests this because I ask my students this, and no one ever. The majority of guys don't have specific goals for themselves, and I think that's huge for any type of athlete, is to set goals for yourself and give yourself something to work for. So what are your goals for the
Yeah.
2018 season?
For me, it's hard for me to set goals like, oh, I want to hit 10 home runs, or I want to hit this amount of doubles, things like that. So I kind of just try to stick to the goals that are more controllable for myself. Um, I would say just keep building on what I've kind of done for myself offensively, and keep building defensively. Try to get as good as I can as I was as a shortstop growing up, as a third baseman now, and as a second baseman, and just make myself that all-around player. I've been working really hard to get faster and quicker, and kind of trim down some weight and get stronger, but keep and kind of lose some body fat, stuff like that, just to become more of a better base stealer, base runner type deal. And my first step. So I've been working really hard at that, and I just want to kind of see that pay off during the season and steal a couple more bases and be better be better on turns, being better at a first and third runner and second home and things like that to help the little things that help the team win. I think those are important, but offensively and defensively, just kind of keep building on what I've got going. I think that's it.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Well, you got a bright future ahead of you with all the, with all the tools you bring to the table, and all the best for you in the 2018 season, man. This was a ton of great information, man. It was fun having you at the facility this year, and really glad to see you doing well at the plate, man. That's awesome.
Yep, thank you so much. I appreciate having you on. And anytime you need anything, let me know.
Okay,
I'd be more
man.
than happy
Yeah,
to help.
definitely, man. Keep swinging that stick, and all the best. Hope to see you in a big league uniform soon, brother.
Thank you so much, man. Take care.
All
God
right,
bless.
Kyle. Talk to you